Hello again. I am back in the UK and it hasn't started well. If I'm honest, I'm back at my desk, I'm back working on projects for clients. Not that I ever really stopped, but as soon as I started here in the UK, I had a really awkward situation that I want to share with you. It was one of those situations where your client or your stakeholder turned out to be right about something and you were wrong. And it happened to me recently and it was massively embarrassing. You see, they suggested a change to the user interface and for whatever reason I wasn't convinced. However, when we actually tried it and we tested it, I was obviously wrong. Worse still, this hasn't been the first time that's happened to me. In fact, it happens relatively frequently. Now, I'm hoping like hell that I'm not alone and you can associate with this, and you've had instances as well where a stakeholder or a client has had a good idea and you maybe have been a bit resistant to it, because otherwise this is just a really embarrassing story that I'm telling. I think my problem was that pride got in the way, to be honest. That I felt affronted that the client might know better than me, or he might think they know better than me, and that they had a better idea than my chosen approach. How arrogant of them. Don't they know that I'm the designer? However, I should really know better than that. Anyone can have a good idea. You don't need to be an expert or a designer to have a good suggestion. Yes, the fact that I've been doing this for 27 years probably means that I have more good ideas than people who are less experienced, but that doesn't exclude them from having good ideas. So I do tend to, when this happens, try to swallow my pride and look at every suggestion that comes from a client or a stakeholder objectively. But it's not always easy, especially if it's a client maybe I don't get on with quite so well. There's nothing more annoying than when someone you dislike is right. Not that I blindly implement every idea that a client or stakeholder suggests. We have to discuss it first, and I have to question it to ensure that A, I properly understand it, and B, that they've properly thought it through. However, I do try to do my best to experiment with as many different ideas that a stakeholder or client comes up with as possible, because times like this happen and I end up being surprised. And that happens actually more often than maybe you think. Of course, that then leads to this awkward moment where they turn out to be correct and you turn out to be wrong, and it's all a bit awkward and embarrassing. And it's easy to fall in a trap of becoming defensive in those situations. I was embarrassed that they were right and I was wrong, and I was supposed to be the professional. And you've got to be really careful in situations like that, because it can result in you arguing against an idea, even when it's been proved to be right, and even when in your heart of hearts you know it's right. You get so defensive that you try and find a way of wiggling out of it to recover your hurt pride. But being an expert in digital isn't about having all the answers. It's not about being right all the time. Instead, it's about working collaboratively with others and adopting the best solution wherever that comes from. It's about swallowing your pride and overcoming your embarrassment to accept and praise a client's contributions when they have a good idea. An experienced professional is confident enough in their capabilities, in their knowledge, to not get defensive in such situations, but rather appreciate what others are bringing to the table, even if it does intrude a little bit on your area of expertise. However, this isn't just about doing the right thing, it's also provides you with some selfish benefits. If you do accept and bring on board the client and their suggestions and what stakeholders have got to say. For example, stakeholders and clients are going to be a lot more likely to listen to your ideas if they can see that you're listening to theirs. Also, admitting that you're wrong in a project shows actually a great deal of confidence and makes people more likely to trust your judgment on other occasions when you insist that you're right. In short, overcoming your embarrassment benefits everybody. It benefits you in the long term, it benefits your clients and your stakeholders, and of course, the project as a whole. So next time a client comes to you with some idea, try not to see it as a personal attack on your capability or to allow it to injure your pride in some way. Instead, try and listen to them with an open mind and accept their suggestions without embarrassment when they turn out to be good.